Have you ever sat down to watch a brand new film, and then when you're watching it thought, wait, have I seen this before? Personally, I don't enjoy that thought. It tends to happen when a film is reusing the formula from another movie and just slotting in their own details. For me, it makes the film feel predictable, and I instantly start comparing it to the other film, which kills my immersion. This is a real problem with sequels as they almost seem phobic of trying anything new. Which brings me to today's topic, the new horror film Smile 2. Like the original film, this one was written and directed by Parker Finn. It stars Naomi Scott, Rosemarie DeWitt, and Lucas Gage. The story picks up where the last film left off. Joel the cop is infected with the smile curse and attempts to get rid of it. Joel passes on the curse in a bloody 10-minute opener, and then the story switches over to the perspective of a recovering young pop star named Sky Riley. Sky is the main character of the story, and after witnessing a horrific suicide, finds herself haunted by increasingly strange and terrifying hallucinations. Smile 2 is just like most horror films. It has a bit of special effects gore, a creepy-looking monster, a few jump scares, and a paper-thin plot about a woman being mentally tortured. It's a dark and hopeless film with a single mind to it. If you like being scared and feeling disgusted, this could totally be your jam. If you're not into that, it probably doesn't have anything else that you'll want. It's just really to the point and has laser focus. Okay, starting from the top. The film's visuals are designed well and the visual journey is easy to follow. The journey follows Sky through her daily life as a pop star preparing to go on tour. We see her hang out in swanky apartments, go to celebrity events, and practice her routine. Along the way, Sky is haunted by a ghost resembling the suicide victim she saw. There's a lot of eerie scenarios where we hear whispering and see moving shadows in the corner of the screen. There's also a couple of gory kills, a big scary monster, and a couple of effective jump scares. The kills tend to be a bit vomit-inducing. They don't just murder someone, they murder them in an extreme fashion. So instead of stabbing someone once, they do it 30 times and make sure the blood is dripping from everywhere. The big scary monster is a sort of colossal amalgamation of different creatures that appears toward the end. It's a bit comical, but what it does to Sky is quite disturbing and quickly puts a stop to people laughing at its appearance. The jump scares don't come too often, but are heavily set up when they do appear. They always focus on something for a long time before flashing something scary looking across the screen. It works well and they manage to get me with several of them. Next down the line, we have the film's acting. Most of the story is focused on Sky and her experience, which gives Naomi Scott a lot to do. The rest of the cast gets to do a few lines here and there, and most of them get to do a scene where they portray the smile monster. There's a lot of creepy performances here, with many of them nailing that signature smile. The best were Lucas Gage, Rosemarie DeWitt, and Dylan Galula. The three of them all got big moments in the story and got to play off incredibly gross effects. Naomi Scott as Sky Riley plays a tortured young artist who is already stressed by the pressures of her job. When she witnesses the suicide, it sends her into a freefall that sees her spiraling out of control. Scott plays the role with a fierceness that makes you want to root for Sky, and a terror that makes you pity her as she falls further and further into madness. Scott does a fantastic job of the emotional journey, delivers a few meaningful monologues, and gives some amazing reactions throughout the film. Her performance is easily the most memorable. After the acting comes the soundtrack. In this film, most of what you hear is ambient noise from Sky's environment. Just the normal sounds of her going about her day. Then as she encounters creepy moments, tension tracks start to fill the air, signaling that a jump scare or murder is incoming. The instrumental tracks they use to build tension and create a creepy atmosphere are simple songs made with a few instruments and repetitive melodies. They are effective in the moment, but aren't memorable in any way. They also run into a few original songs performed by Sky. These songs appear briefly and serve to show you how creative and talented Sky is. When they play, Sky is often practicing her routine or performing in some way. As a whole, the film's soundtrack feels a bit flavorless and boring. It does an effective job of making the jump scares stand out, but that's all it does. There's a lot of dead air in the film that could have been used to make it more entertaining or to emphasize different emotional moments. Finally, we have the writing. While the story is consistent with the overall lore and doesn't have any plot holes, it's also highly formulaic and is basically just a rehash of the last film beat for beat. Like I said in the opener, it gives a feeling of déjà vu. It's highly predictable, quite depressing, but also decently exciting. They managed to include enough jump scares, creepy moments, and kills that there's something going on every 5 to 10 minutes. It keeps things fresh and entertaining. The characters aren't overly complex or nuanced, but they did a good job of making you want to root for Riley. The twists were too predictable to really land, but I did like how they tried to mix things up a bit using them. Personally, I found this movie to be a bit boring. I watched Smile a few hours before going to see it and was surprised at just how similar the two movies are in plot structure. I also don't really enjoy watching depressing stories about people being tortured. If I had my way, there would be a way to beat the monster. That said, it was a well-produced movie, albeit a bit formulaic. It does everything the first movie did with a little bit more pizzazz. As for a rating, I'd give this film a 7 out of 10. Remember, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Bye-bye!